Let's design this light and dark theme in Figma using variables. This was never possible before variables. Variables is a new feature released by Figma last week. We used to manually design dark and light themes to achieve this, but now it's super easy. Before I start, I request you guys to please subscribe to my channel to learn super useful tips and tricks in Figma. Let's start. We start by creating a frame as usual. Let's place it over here. So first thing first, these items that you are looking at are some of the material that we are going to be using today. We have Google logo and two Google icons that I have downloaded from Wikimedia, and a living room image is from Unsplash. I'll link them in the description below. We also have some basic icons here that are downloaded from a plugin called Feather Icons. Let me show you. If you go to the plugins and search Feather Icons, it will open up this window where you can search and add icons just like this. Let's get back to our design. Place this image inside our frame and resize to fit. Draw a rectangle of 1000 pixels width, 580 height, center align it and give it 30 border radius. We are not going to worry about colors at this point, and I will explain why. Just duplicate this rectangle for now and reduce height to something like 120. Click this icon to reveal corner radius and set 0 for right and left bottom corner. Let's give it some random color for now. Select this rectangle and duplicate it and adjust the size to something like this. And for this rectangle, we completely remove corner radius. Let's give it some random colors to differentiate. Let's add a stroke to this rectangle. Click this icon here and select custom stroke option. Set 0 for left and right stroke values, so we just have top and bottom stroke. Let's draw our tab. Draw a rectangle. Actually, let's reduce this rectangle size a bit to something like this and adjust size of the tab so it looks big and nice. Give this rectangle 10 corner radius and remove right and left bottom corner radius. Let's bring in our close and minimize icon and place them here and adjust position of the tab. Bring our fab icon inside the tab and scale it down a bit. Add a text saying Google. Let's keep the font size to 16 now. Next, we bring our nav icons in this rectangle here and align them in center and side like this. Beautiful. Now let's draw another rectangle and set width to almost like this. Let's give it a corner radius of 100 so it becomes rounded. Let's bring in our lock icon here. Let's change the font size of this text to 12 and duplicate it and place it over here. Oops, it's in the back layer, so let's bring it on the top. Let's set the font size to 14 and type something like google.com. Perfect, we are almost done. Put our bookmark icon over here, close tab icon over here, options icon over here, just like this. Let's bring the Google logo in the window and scale it down a bit. Now draw a rectangle of our search bar, give it some white color, 48 height, and make it rounded like this. Now bring search icon and Google icons and place them over here, just like this. Let's type our button text Google search. Give it 16 font size. Press Shift A to make it into a auto layout. Give it white fill and corner radius of 5. Now duplicate it. Padding is a bit tight, so let's change padding so it looks cleaner. Change second button text to I'm feeling lucky, whatever the hell that is. Let's adjust position to something like this. It looks a bit short, so let's increase this rectangle height and center align items like this. We are done. Now, I told you not to worry about colors because I wanted to use new feature of Figma called variables to add colors. So let's do that. If you have nothing selected, you can see this option here that says local variable and choose this icon to open variables. We can choose color from here like old times or maybe create styles and use style colors, but we want to make dynamic colors. So let's go to variables. Now, important thing here to mention is that variables are available in free version of Figma, but to create a dark and light theme using variables, we use something called modes, and that is only available in paid plan of Figma. So I strongly suggest to get a paid plan of Figma because this makes it worth it. Another thing to mention here is that it might ask you to move your file in a team project if it's in the drafts. So make sure to do that if it asks. Okay, let's explore variables. On the left, you can see these selections. Think of it as a group of variables. You can rename it to whatever you want. Let's rename it to my variables. If you click this button here, it will ask you the type of the variable that you want to create: color, number, string, or boolean. Now, if you don't know what these mean, let me explain. Color variable can store a color value. Number can store a number value. String can store a text value. And boolean can store true or false value. For now, let's choose color variable. A variable has been created. Let's rename it to text and give it a value. Let's create another variable and name it card, and let's set the value to something like white with 50% opacity. We are going to use these variables to color our design. Let's create another one called header and set white with 5% opacity. Create another one for our icons and let's give it a bit darker color like this. Let's create another variable and name it surface and give it white with 50%. Actually, let's change the card to 40%. I think that covers colors for all our items that we designed. So let's close it. Now select this rectangle, which is our card basically. And if I select this icon here that says style, we can see in our libraries that are variable colors that we just created. It's almost like styles that we can create in Figma, but it is much more powerful. So let's select our card variable here and let's give it a background blur for frosted glass look. Just like this. Perfect. Now select both these rectangles, which are basically our headers, and select fill variable of header just like this. Now it does not look differentiated. So let's go back to our variable panel and change the header variable value. And as soon as I change it, it also gets reflected in the design. So I can choose the variable color that I want. Just like this. This color, I think so, works perfect. So we'll leave it at that. We also want to change stroke color, but we have no stroke variable. So let's create one. Go to variables panel again and create a variable, name it stroke and set value to something like white with 5% opacity. Now select the stroke color and set it to stroke variable that we just created. Let's select all these icons here and select icons variable. This icon is a bit tricky, so let's change it manually by selecting individual layer like this. Perfect. Let's select the text and set the color to text variable just like this. For search icon here, we'll set it to the text color as well. Perfect. We also have these surfaces, so let's change it to surface variable color that we created. We also have these surfaces, change it to surface variable as well, just like that. And we have all variables set. Now every color is completely dynamic. Now for the magic part. Go to variables panel and click this plus icon here that says new variable modes. This is only available in paid version of Figma, so make sure you have that. Click it and it adds another mode. Let's name this mode to light and this mode to dark. Let's change variable values of dark mode that will work best on a dark theme. So for example, the text will be something white, the card will be something like black with 75% opacity. And to see the preview of what you are doing, as we have created this modes now, so now if we select this frame here and in the layer section, we have this new icon here that says change variable modes. Click it and choose the mode that we have created. Let's select the dark mode. As we have set only 2 new values for the dark mode, so now those are reflected in our dark theme. Let's change the rest of the color values of the dark mode. We are done, so let's close this, and now we can switch between light and dark modes with a single click. You can create multiple themes using concept of modes and variables. There is so much more that can be achieved using variables like number, string, and booleans. And I am going to make videos on all of them. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss on those videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.